Hello and welcome back to Up Next in Commerce. I'm your host, Stephanie Postles, CEO at mission.org. Today on the show, we have Harrison Gross, who serves as the CEO and co-founder of Lucyd. Harrison, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Excited to have you on. So for anyone who can't see you right now, you're wearing some beautiful eyeglasses that one would not even know there's anything different from maybe what they'd be wearing in their everyday life. So can you explain Lucyd and what are you wearing right now?
Yeah, so Lucyd is a smart eyewear company. We've been developing different electronic glasses for a couple of years now. I'm wearing our new product, which is called Lucyd Lyte, which launched this past January. It's very exciting because it's our first smart eyewear that really looks and feels like regular glasses. It weighs about the same as a regular pair of glasses, and it's suitable for all-day prescription wear, which is a major development in the smart eyewear space because most of the products out there are good for a few minutes at a time or maybe an hour or two, but you can't wear them as your all-day glasses. So that's something that we're really focused on, is delivering optical quality eyewear that's enhanced with technology features. So for example, these glasses allow me to take a phone call, listen to music, use voice assistants like Siri and Google Voice, all without taking my phone out of my pocket. So it's really like headphones and glasses in one. And since it does both well enough, you really don't need regular glasses or regular headphones anymore once you adopt our product.
Yep, I love it. I mean, so we got a product or two of them sent to us and we were trying them out, and it was so nice just being able to go walk the dog, listen to music, take a phone call. So tell me about, the buttons on the eyewear. Like, how do you actually have the ability to not even touch your phone, but do all those things?
Sure. So like I mentioned, it's really like a Bluetooth headset built into the glasses. So there's speakers on the inside of the arms, and there's also a microphone as well. And then there's two touch buttons right here, which allow you to do a number of different functions on the glasses, like changing the volume of what you're listening to, answering an incoming phone call, or activating the voice assistant to use an app. So it really is very simple, very easy to use because there's only two buttons. It's very easy for anyone to just pick up the glasses and start using them and rocking out. So it's really a fun product, and at the same time, it's very user-friendly, which is something that we noticed was a major issue in a lot of other smart eyewear products. A lot of them use these kind of interesting touch pads to change volume or skip tracks. They're very difficult to use and unreliable. So we really learned a lot along the way from our previous products and incorporated all of that knowledge into the Lyte.
I love
which,
that.
as you can see, really does look like a regular pair of glasses. You couldn't really be able to tell that's a smart eyewear product unless I told you.
Yeah. No, that's what I love about it. And so is the speaker, is it bone conduction or is it actually just a speaker? Because I noticed that you couldn't, like when you're walking next to people, they can kind of hear it, but it's not like a full-on speaker blasting out to everyone around you.
Yeah, so it's a directional audio speaker, not bone conduction, that projects directly down onto the ear from the arm. So this allows something called open ear listening, which allows you to listen to audio content and still be able to hear your surroundings at the same time, which is very important for certain activities like cycling or running, where you're on the street and you really need to hear the traffic around you. So it provides like a really nice balance of your hearing of the natural world around you and the audio content you want to listen to.
So what led you to, getting into this world and creating that? Because I mean, I'm especially even thinking about the history and hearing about, Google Glass, the failures there. Like, what made you want to get into this world and show people, there is actually a use case for this and it can be great?
So I was working in an IP investment firm called Tech Capital a few years ago, and we were tasked essentially with commercializing different university technologies from around the world. And one particular set of technologies we had out of UCF was these smart eyewear technologies, and we were attempting to license them out to other companies. It wasn't working really so well, and we figured, hey, let's spin it out, make a startup out of it, and create the first mass market smart eyewear product. Because when we started back in 2017, there really was nothing on the market that was suitable for prescription wear or had any kind of useful tech combined with optical glasses. So we set out to make that product, and a few beta models later, we finally achieved it. And what's really exciting about our company is that it's largely crowdfunded. We've raised over $1 million from about 4,000 investors, and they really help inform the product development in a way that wouldn't happen in a regular top-down company. So since we're community funded, we're also community focused, and we're focused on delivering glasses that meet the needs of our community. So they've worked very closely with us along the way, and they've been our beta testers and our focus groups and all of that. So we've had this sort of built-in audience and customer base that's been actually invested in our success in a material way. So they've really helped enhance our product development over time and really helped us figure out, what styles we need and what features we really needed in the product.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't even realize there was a whole industry around licensing IP from universities. I mean, I want to hear a bit more about that. Like, can you tell me more of like,
Yeah,
what were the things that you were seeing? I mean, I know universities are always doing cool
sure.
things, but I didn't know that was an actual like, investment firm saying, hey, I want to license your tech and see what I can do with it.
Yeah, there aren't too many. There's only a handful of them that are pulling university IP. Um, it is really a fascinating thing because really that model kind of doesn't work anymore because everything is based around all the way that technology moves through the market is inside startups and inside small companies. And larger companies, rather than licensing technologies directly, they'd rather buy a startup that's kind of proven out the technology into a product.
Mhm.
So it's not so common anymore. But what was really interesting about Tech Capital is that at Tech, we had built a research network of 4,500 universities around the world, which is something like 80% of the IP producing schools in the world. And the schools all have a very hard time commercializing technologies themselves because they're not set up as businesses. They're set up as academic institutions. So they have a really hard time finding commercial partners for all this really interesting innovation that's coming out of their labs. So like some of the more interesting technologies we had seen, some really cool stuff actually. One was a phone charger that was actually inside a shoe, and as you walked in the shoe, it would generate a charge, and you'd pull a little USB stick
What?
out of the shoe, and then you
Uh-huh.
get a backup battery for your phone.
Okay, that's
Uh,
actually awesome. Where is that? Hello, I'll license that. That's really
so
cool.
yeah, so we had actually licensed that technology, but it was one of the ones that didn't quite make it into production.
Yeah, you don't
Uh,
want them powering your eyewear? I mean, then I won't ever have to
It's a
charge it anymore.
possibility. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. One thing that's nice about the Lucid glasses, though, is the battery life is about 8 hours of playback. So you
Yep.
really only have to charge them every couple of days
Yep.
for most people. Obviously, some people listen to music from dawn to dusk while they're working, and for those people, they'll need to charge it on a daily. But the battery technology has gotten really impressive. And just in this little tip, we store that 8-hour battery.
Wow.
And with some new, like, interesting battery polymers that are out there, you can actually have a battery in any shape now. So we're working on creating an even larger battery that's spread more evenly throughout the arm to enhance the battery life even further. But one of the technologies that did make it out of the universities that is really powerful is one called microsalt. And what it is it's a salt particle that's it's just salt, but it's way smaller. So it has more surface area by weight. So your tongue senses it twice as fast as regular salt. So you can have food that tastes just as salty, but has half the sodium. So that's another technology that Tech Capital, my former employer, did bring to market. So there
Wow.
are a lot of really interesting things coming out of the universities, and it's a very you have some of the smartest people in the world, working in these research labs and creating these wonderful technologies, but they have a hard time really turning them into companies. And you do have some universities like Stanford that spin out dozens of startups a year
Hmm.
around the technologies they develop. So some of them are kind of getting wise to how to do it. But yeah, it's been a very interesting time working with all these emerging technologies. Very fascinating stuff.
Wow, that's cool. So, I mean, early days, you're licensing this tech. You're like, there's,
Mhm.
big potential here. What did it look like next to even create, your V1 set?
Well, so that was it's kind of a long story, but so we had all these technologies. We were trying to license them out, and we just saw this need in the market for good, user-friendly, comfortable smart eyewear. Didn't
Mhm.
exist, and we basically set out to tick off these boxes that we believed needed to all be answered in order to create that product. So one by one, we went through and we figured out, okay, so how do we get it in a user-friendly form factor that is very easy to use? That was the first thing. Second, how do we get it suitable for all-day optical wear? How do we get it with a battery life that's long enough to be useful? How do we get the audio quality high enough to be able to listen to music enjoyably? So we've had to answer all of these different issues that existed in smart eyewear one by one to finally result in this, in a mass market product.
Mhm.
So it's been a long journey, and step by step, this is really our fifth product that we've done. Um, so it took several models, and it also took the chipsets getting more miniaturized, and all these other things that have happened along the way. Some innovations which were internal to us, and some which were external by our manufacturers, et cetera, to really create this product. But it's been an ongoing process, and we're not nearly done yet. There's still lots of innovation to be done, and getting the arms even thinner, so they're really indistinguishable from regular glasses. and improving the sound quality and all these other things that we're working on to make it perfect. So we're not quite 100% finished with our job. We still have a lot of work to do in getting smart eyewear to be the new standard in eyewear writ large.
That's amazing. So, I mean, so far we've kind of talked about, the speaker capability and music and things like that. But what was so interesting to me was seeing also kind of how you guys are going to be leaning into augmented reality and blockchain. And to me, when you're looking at the market right now, you see some competitors with smart speaker eyewear, then you see,
Sure.
smart glasses, but seeing someone who can put it all together in one place in a way that's actually usable, you don't really see that right now. So I want to hear how you're thinking about, AR in the real world and blockchain coming together around smart eyeglasses.
So we were originally developing a visual smart glass before we realized the market was not nearly ready for such a product, nor was the technology sufficiently advanced enough to make it user-friendly. So in that world, I had envisioned a system where we could use blockchain to sort of automatically moderate and promote content. So as content would get highly, what's interesting about visual smart glasses, AR smart glasses, is that it will be a platform where you both create and consume content in one wearable, which is really kind of a first. So we envisioned this kind of robust system where you'd have content creators on one side and you'd have content consumers on the other side, and you'd have kind of these blockchain systems in between them to help modulate the transfer of content and the exchange of content between them, as well as kind of automatically scalable moderation of content. So essentially, as content gets highly rated on the platform, you would have tokens released to the content creators, which they can then use to promote their content and perform other functions in the system. However, over time, since we're now focused on audio eyewear, which is much more suitable to today's market, we've actually translated a lot of those concepts into our upcoming app called Verb, which will be actually a fully tokenized social app. So many of those concepts that we had originally about using blockchain to moderate and control the exchange of software on smart eyewear, we're now applying that to social content in Verb. So as highly rated content creators, release more content on the platform, they'll be able to do all kinds of different things, like set up tokenized paywalls to their content, and use the tokens that they generate by creating highly rated content to then promote their brand and promote their company on the platform. So we're sort of using blockchain technology to create this network of social content on Verb that uses blockchain to help manage the payments, peer-to-peer payments for that content, and also to reward the content creators with an automated system. So it's changed a little bit in terms of our view of how we intend to apply blockchain technology, but it's now being distilled. Instead of being on the glasses itself, it will be in a companion app that enhances the functionality of the glasses while also being usable without any wearable or without headphones. It'll have a full visual interface. It could be used as its own social media app by itself. So that's essentially the long and short of it, is just creating this sort of token system that creates a gamified social media experience where people accrue tokens by creating positive content, and then they can spend those tokens on a number of different things: premium content, promotions, app upgrades, and the like.
Okay, so if I'm the creator, what does that look like? I'm just imagining wearing the headphones, saying what I want to be posted. It's going and getting posted. Is it just the audio that's going, or what's actually happening?
Well, if you're posting on the glasses, it would be just audio, which is something that we're enabling. Where you'll be able to post fully hands-free by activating Siri and using a custom Siri command we're creating that will allow you to create your voice posts. So that's one way. But essentially, you'd create, it's sort of similar layout. The visual component is sort of similar layout to Twitter, create new posts, but you'll have a lot more control over your content. You'll be able to set a price for it. And users will be able to send you custom tips. So if they want to tip you 1 token or 5 tokens for the content, they'll be able to do that. So that's based on a very successful model in the live streaming apps like LiveMe, where it's actually solely powered by the content creation on those apps is solely powered by user tips.
I didn't know that.
We actually cobbled together a few different monetization schemes from some different popular apps and turned them into a kind of a more complete system on Verb. So we'll have the tipping mechanisms, we'll have the sort of content paywalls that you see on some premium sites, and then we'll have like sort of features like the Steam blockchain where users can provide tokens to each other if they like their content. And then all these sort of automated token releases that will have an app just for, like, let's say checking in and all of that. And then everything will run on this token in the app. So, like, let's say you want to run an ad, that will cost you tokens. So you would be able to either buy those tokens in fiat or, accrue them by using the app on a regular basis or by creating highly rated content. So essentially that's what we're trying to do, is implement this reward system to attract premium audio content creators to the platform. And then, they would be able to cash out their tokens as well if they wanted to remove that value from the platform. Because one thing that we know is, I'm kind of an audiophile, listen to a lot of music, I create audio products. There's not many places for indie artists or even big artists to monetize their music. So that was something that we really wanted to create with Verb, as well as with podcasts also. I mean, there's Patreon, but very few people use Patreon or are comfortable signing up with a Patreon account. So we're trying to create a very smooth system where people that create high quality audio content have a new home to share their content with the world and get paid for it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, I mean, when I hear both of these like things that you're working on, you're essentially kind of creating two businesses. You've got building a wearable, hard, building a social network, very hard. So how are you going about attracting, customers to both and finding your audiences and showing people, this wearable is an everyday thing now. Like, the future is here. You just have to come try it out. And also there's a new social network as well. How are you finding your audience?
Well, just to backtrack for 1 second, I think the hardware is actually much more difficult than the software.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing, this is just for, like, the other entrepreneurs watching and things like that. Getting into developing a tech hardware product is infinitely more difficult than developing software. Because software is there's much lower overhead. You're not dealing with physical materials. You're not shipping products back and forth and to and fro across the country and across other countries, and having this very slow iteration process of designing new styles in 3D and creating those samples and checking the samples. There's just so much more that goes into hardware. It's like mind-boggling. So if I had my choice of one or the other, I would love to just do software, but I think things are going so well with the eyewear business. We have to keep at that as well. But there's really what's interesting about the two sides of the business is they work fully independently, but they also work together very well through these different voice commands that we're programming into the app that allow you to do all sorts of different things, like hear different types of content through Siri. Like, it can be like, Siri, let me hear a podcast on Verb about fishing, and then I could just fetch that podcast and start playing it through the glasses. But there's a lot of cross promotion opportunities. Like, we can sell the glasses within the app. We can promote the glasses within the app. We can have download codes for the app on all of our glasses, on the packaging or on the glasses itself even. And then, one thing we're rolling out is a virtual try-on display for our different optical stores that carry our products. So this has a little experience, shows a video about the glasses, and then it lets you try on the glasses virtually. And then kind of like prompts you to ask the salesperson to try it on physically. But we can update all of these kiosks as they're out there in the marketplace with new content about the app and download codes for the app and promos and all of that. So there's a lot of interesting things where we can use our eyewear business as sort of a gateway into the app. And then once they're in the app, they're kind of like part of our community, and they get more information about our upcoming releases and all of that stuff. And all the latest company updates just by virtue of being on the app, because we can like automatically subscribe everyone that signs up to follow, much like Tom on MySpace. We're the Tom of this app, right?
Haven't thought about Tom in a while.
Yeah, I'm aging myself a little bit, right? But
no, I mean, I was on MySpace. It was great.
That was the beginning of the social internet.
Yeah, that's how we knew it was possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's awesome about that is you think about every person or with every company with a product wants a community. Every community wants a product. And so you're kind of doing both. Are you going to be encouraging people inside the social network to all use Lucyd, or will they be able to use, any of their devices to be able to post and update?
Yeah, I mean, you can use it just, speaking into your phone microphone. You don't have to have our glasses, but the idea is that we're enhancing smart eyewear with social content through the app. So there is definitely a sort of a little bit of a mini ecosystem that's created between the hardware and the software together. But what's really nice about the app is that it's so much easier to get someone to download an app than to buy a pair of glasses. But once they're in the app, we can sell them pretty hard on the glasses, show the different functionalities that are possible. Be like, hey, you want to take a quick tutorial about how to use the Verb app with wearables? Sure. Okay. And then it shows the glasses, a video of the posting on the glasses. We can do all kinds of stuff like that once they have downloaded the app, we can strongly encourage them to purchase, even releasing discounts and coupons through the app as well. So there's definitely a huge amount of opportunity in sort of the cross promotion. But one reason that we are so ambitious in creating both of these, things, which are really massive projects unto themselves, is we want to create a viable alternative to, these huge social media giants that have sort of taken over a lot of people's lives and eat up so much screen time. And there's sort of there's like an addictiveness to a lot of the social media that's out there. And there's so many, I read something crazy. The average American sees like 5,000 ads a day.
Wow. I believe it. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we wanted to take away the focus away from all that and the focus away from harvesting your data to sell to advertisers and all the stuff that the main social networks are now notorious for, and really just focus on the human voice and something that has largely gone missing from the internet age. And really focus on just people's voices and letting people speak their truth and really share, what they love in a very direct fashion and without having to look at their screen. Because, there's all these studies coming out now that the more time you spend on your screen, the less happy you are. And it's especially pronounced in adolescence. And there's something inherently wrong with the amount of time and energy that people are devoting on these visual, photo-based social platforms. So we wanted to make one that was all about just people speaking their mind and having conversations with each other. And it sort of grew out as a natural extension of the eyewear.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. So what other technologies are you exploring on that side? I mean, you said you're, utilizing blockchain. Like I can imagine NFTs could be important if you're having artists on there, potentially like trying to monetize their music. I mean, what other things are you thinking about?
So it's funny that you mentioned NFTs because we actually we hired 2 NFT artists to create unique pairs of glasses. They're physical Lucyd glasses that are in artist designed handmade packaging, and they have component digital NFT with them. And that's a product that we're releasing in the near future. Another thing we're considering for NFTs, so in the Verb app, there's a robust item system where all of these app upgrades and ads and everything is tied to items. And we're considering backing those items with NFTs to allow people to withdraw them from the platform and trade them on open marketplaces. So that's something that we're considering for next year. But we want to have this robust item system where, like, even if you get a new skin for the app, or let's say an item that allows, so in the app, instead of emojis, we have what's called sound effects, which are like audio emojis that represent just like a dog barking or a heartbeat or something, representing a visual emoji that you can drop into your audio track. So you'll be able to get new packs of those as like an in-app purchase, right? So that's something that would be tied to an item that you would be able to trade to other users. And then ideally by making those items NFTs, we allow people to withdraw them and exchange them, the rarer items at least, on OpenSea or other marketplaces like that. So we're very into that space. We think it's a very interesting opportunity. I mean, it's hard to not be kind of a jump on the bandwagon company when it comes to that, when it comes to a lot of these different things in crypto. So we're trying to stay true to our original goal of just creating user-friendly smart eyewear and software that enhances that. So the NFTs aren't as directly relevant to what we're doing, but we do think there is an opportunity to just add another level of fun and excitement to the app through NFT.
That's great. So tell me a bit about, your marketing when it comes to, finding new customers for your eyewear. Like, what are your preferred channels right now, or where are you seeing success to kind of drum up interest and also show, hey, we're way different than anyone else in the market right now?
Well, what's interesting is that until about 3 months ago, we've been almost exclusively a direct to customer business, selling directly through our website, where we do have our own lens lab, so we're able to ship prescription pairs and all of that, and selling through Amazon. But about 3 months ago, we kind of debuted the brand to the optical industry at a show called Vision Expo East. And the response from the optical industry was so positive that we immediately started coordinating a lot more of our efforts around getting optical stores and eyewear stores around the country to start carrying the product. And now the balance is tipped almost to 50-50, where we're about half direct to consumer now and half B2B. So things have changed a lot, and now we really see these optical stores, and there's 30,000 of them in the US. We see them as the future of the company, because that's where people are comfortable trying new glasses. That's where people are comfortable having new eyewear experiences. That's where they go for that. So we think it's really a natural fit for all of those outlets. So we're very focused now on getting opticians around the country become aware of the brand, start carrying the products, and we have a very optician-centric business model for that. We give them a lot of support, co-op marketing, and all of that, and really encouraging them to introduce this new product category in their stores because it's coming whether they want it or not. Smart eyewear is now it's here now, and it's not going anywhere. And we really believe at Lucyd in the future that all eyewear, or almost all eyewear, will be smart eyewear. Because once you get to a point where you have two pairs of glasses that cost the same, look the same, feel the same, but one of them has all this Bluetooth tech, which one are you going to go for? And most people will go for the tech nowadays, especially when it's really fully explained to them how it can really make things a little bit more convenient for them throughout their day. So that's sort of we've been trying to market it through the eyewear stores basically now, and trying to get them to adopt it. And like I mentioned, that try-on kiosk, we developed a piece of software for that, and we're getting that out to the stores starting next month. So we're trying to give them everything they need to not just carry the frames, but also educate the customers about smart eyewear in general, because still 99% of people never tried a smart eyewear product, don't fully understand what it does, what it feels like. So, these kiosks will really go a long way in educating customers in store without the reps having to, go through the whole spiel. So we think that experience will be really important. And then we do drive a lot of traffic from TikTok these days.
Yeah, I think I saw on your homepage, it said popular on TikTok. So I wanted to hear what that looks like for you guys.
Well, it's just mostly user-generated content that we use. Some influencers, some regular customers create great videos for us, just talking through the product, and it comes across as much more authentic and real than a traditional advertisement. So yeah, we're seeing almost, I think the larger portion of our web traffic is now coming from TikTok. And this whole thing with, I don't know how much you know about it, but there were some changes in the iPhone OS. What that did was, it turned the whole Facebook model on its head. And we had really driven not just sales through Facebook, but also investment through Facebook in the past. And all of that was kind of nixed by this latest update. So we had to really go back to the drawing board, and we're like, we know video is more engaging. So let's focus on TikTok. Let's start making a lot of great videos, engaging content. We only created the account, I think, maybe a month or two ago. We have over 1,000 followers now, and we have a lot of great. Some of our best content is on there because there's just real people doing real things with the glasses. It's not judged up to the 9th degree, the nth degree. It's like it's just people cycling or having fun or talking about how the glasses make their day easier.
And are you encouraging these people to post something, or how are you kind of getting that conversation started? Because, I can imagine a lot of brands being like, I want organic content like that, but it's easier said than done.
Most of the higher quality stuff comes from influencers that we work with that are just accustomed to developing unique content for different products that they work with. Some of them are just people that are kind of our fans that just really like our product, and we work with them, and they just create awesome videos for us. But yeah, I think, having that sort of organic content approach is really vital, and it just really helps the brand a brand which is normally is just kind of seen as like a corporate entity, really make it more like a relatable human experience. So we think that the TikTok content's performing very well for that reason, because it's just so authentic. And it's just, chill people having a great time with the glasses. It's not, so salesy, which people really balk at these days.
Yeah, I agree. Are there any other platforms you guys are trying out or testing that are maybe outside the norm? So not Instagram or Facebook, but anything that's a little bit out there?
We're very active on Pinterest. I think our Pinterest page has like 200,000 views a month or something. It's pretty high volume, but it doesn't convert that well. I think people just like to grab the photos and check us out, but they don't really necessarily go through to purchase. We do get a lot of brand awareness from Pinterest. I think, YouTube, while it's really hard to build a following, is where you get kind of a higher level of engagement. So we focus on that as well. But since we're developing our own social platform, it's like how much effort do we want to put into these other social platforms when we have our own account where we're going to need this huge, robust content pipeline just to keep it going. So a lot of our effort is just focused on creating our own app.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, TikTok has been like the star though of the year in terms of social promotion. So I highly encourage any brands listening to get on the platform, start creating some fun portrait format videos.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It definitely, especially if you're seeing conversions. I know that was a question in the early days of, oh, is it, fake followers and is this engagement real? But if you can actually see the conversions after the fact, then you might as well try. If you can have the stamina to keep up with the videos and the new content.
Yeah, one other thing we do, which is kind of surprising for a startup, is we run broadcast TV ads on cable.
Oh, interesting.
And it's expensive. This is kind of a high buy-in. Pay around $25K a week for the ads that we run them, but we get thousands upon thousands of views of the commercial, and it does drive a huge amount of brand awareness. So that was very impressive. I even have like my best friend from childhood call me up. Hey, just saw a Lucyd commercial on TV. I'm thinking about buying another pair. You really get a huge amount of recognition in a very short period of time, especially if you have an A-list brand ambassador to be the face of that commercial. So there's a lot of opportunity for very rapid, compressed growth with TV. I think that is still there for companies willing to roll the dice and take the higher buy-in. The one sort of major downside I'd say is that it does, like everything, all types of ads, it takes some time to optimize.
Yeah.
So you might be kind of very disappointed in that first week, but in that second week you might see just that slew of orders come through that makes it worth it. So we think TV has a lot of potential as well, but mainly from an awareness perspective rather than from a direct conversion perspective. And also TV helped us get a lot of investment as well.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see from the investment standpoint. I mean, it's a crowdfunding aspect you have, right? Where you can even go to your homepage and you have the ability to invest in Lucyd. Can you still do that? And if so, tell me a bit about how you guys are thinking about that.
So it's all through Start Engine, actually, which is one of the sort of big names in equity crowdfunding these days. But the equity crowdfunding has been wonderful because it's really a new advent in terms of like how you can start a company these days. Because until I think between like 2000 and 2015 or so, you weren't able to really do equity crowdfunds. You could only do traditional investment. You could have like friends and family investors. You could do a Kickstarter, which is not a crowdfund, not an equity crowdfund, but rather sort of a pre-order crowdfund, where you're selling the product. But the thing is, with Kickstarters, your chance of actually coming out ahead capital-wise is pretty low because all that money you're taking in, you're not just spending on product, you're spending on product development to get you to that product, if you can even get there. So what's really nice about the equity crowdfund is we can take the best parts of the Kickstarter where you get the exciting new product as part of it. We have that as a perk, but you can actually buy shares in the company. So this was not allowed for quite some time. And then the new legislation revived it in the mid-2010s. And then it was still very difficult at that time. And then a few years went by and then you started having these kind of very refined crowdfunding platforms that have huge communities of investors behind them already, which then they're able to put on these new projects, and then the crowdfund platform takes a percentage of the raise. So it really is a very powerful thing, because if you were an entrepreneur 5 years ago and you wanted to raise $1 million, you have to be, and you're not in Silicon Valley, you're basically SOL. But now through these crowdfund platforms, if you have a great idea, a great team, a great company, you can put it up there and let the world see you. And if they like what you're doing, they'll invest. So that's been a major benefit to the company. And not to mention, in terms of raising the capital, but building that community, which is what is going to give your brand staying power and not just be a flash in the pan. So we have these 4,000 investors who are materially vested in our success. And that means they buy our products. Sometimes some of them buy every new product launch we do. For years now. So like it's a much more powerful thing to build a company this way, because we're not just a couple of guys with some funding. We're a couple of guys supported by thousands of eyewear enthusiasts.
So that's awesome. You've got your true fans essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And it's created this kind of extended Lucyd family, and we're all kind of in it together, and they support us, and we give them great products, and it kind of creates this very positive mutual relationship. And I think in large part our success with the Lucyd Lyte product is due to that community and their support, not just because they've helped fund the product, but because, like I mentioned before, they're so integral to the actual product development process itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love it. Okay. So where do you guys want to be in the next 1 to 3 years? Like, what are you betting big on right now? Where do you see yourself?
Well, we want Lucyd glasses in every optical store in the country. There's no doubt
Mm-hmm.
about that. And I think it's very achievable, because it's a great product at a great price. And that's what any salesperson or any retail business needs.
Yep.
So I think that the potential is there for really a nationwide rollout of this product, and making Lucyd. So I think in 1 year, I'd like Lucyd to be like a household name in terms of smart eyewear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out another year or two, we're on the shelves in every city in the U.S. and beyond. And we actually just signed a really big deal with Canada, a 3-year distribution deal with a company called Marca, who's one of the biggest eyewear distributors in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So they are already getting to work getting the product across Canada. So now it's on us just to do the same in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And the potential's there because we see it in our customers' faces when they first try on the product. They just love it.
Yep.
And they don't want to go back to regular glasses once they get used to the audio eyewear.
Yeah, you should get videos of when people are trying it on. I'm like, first reaction. There was a couple things going around that happening with Netflix series, but imagine it with your
Yeah.
product instead, and capturing,
Yeah.
how people are when they're kind of listening to it and being able to do everything from one spot.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to the UGC thing we were talking about,
Yep.
where user-generated content is just so powerful because it's like authentic. And
Mm-hmm.
it rings us a lot truer than salesy kind of ad content.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think that is another goal. By the end of this year, we're hoping to have 20 styles available,
Mm-hmm.
which is far and away more than any of the competition is offering. Also, we're trying to come out with the first Bluetooth safety glass. So that will be really major for a lot of people in different industries that just can't use their hands to touch their phone while they're working,
Mm-hmm.
or they need to wear safety glasses, but also need hands-free communication with their team. So like one example of a great story about this, we had a doctor in the Dominican Republic order, I think 30 units for his students because he wanted to be able to talk them through surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
and totally hands-free without anything in their ears or anything.
Yep.
So the product was a great tool, in the hospital. And then we hear from for example, like we have a couple of postal workers that buy from us, and they can't wear headphones. They're not allowed to wear headphones while they're
Mm-hmm.
working. But our glasses let them not only protect their eyes, but also enjoy audio content while they're working for the first time,
Yep.
because of that open ear technology. So we're hearing all the time about how glasses are making people's work lives better and helping their leisure life as well. And it makes it, it encourages them to go out with the dog more and, go exercise more. And they don't need to worry about having the headphones and the glasses. And it's just simpler.
Yep.
So we're seeing already that the product is already benefiting a lot of people. So now the challenge is to make it frame that fits everyone. So we want to make all these different frames so anyone, regardless of their head shape or head size, can find a style that they like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something very different from what a lot of the other smart eyewear companies are doing. Because like, for example, if you look at it from like Microsoft or Bose's perspective, it's a consumer electronic product. It's not eyewear.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't see that need for 50 different styles.
Yep.
In the way that we do, since we're primarily an eyewear business.
Yep.
So we think that that's really, now that the technology has gone to where it is, that's the remaining hurdle to full mass market adoption of smart eyewear, is having this huge customer choice in terms of style.
Yep. I love it.
That's what we're trying to address now.
Let's move over to the lightning round. The lightning round is brought to you by Salesforce Commerce Cloud. This is where I ask you a question and you have 30 seconds or less to answer. Harrison,
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
All right. First one. What's one thing you don't understand but wish you did?
App development. I wish I've done a lot of front end app design, and I actually have an awarded patent for the utility patent on an app, on Verb. On another app I developed called Link. But actually creating apps and the mechanics of designing and developing app systems is something that I feel like is a major gap in my knowledge.
Yep, that's a good one. I love it. What's the best piece of business advice that you refer back to?
Um, best piece of business advice. Okay, so I can't remember exactly where it came from, but there's this line about find a need in the market and fill it.
Mhm.
I don't know who originally came up with that line, but
Someone
that was
smart.
yeah, that was like sort of the raison d'etre of Lucid. Like there was no smart eyewear out on the market that just did the job. So
Mhm.
we set out to fill that need.
I love that. All right. If you want to get creative, what do you do?
I'm kind of a night owl, so like my creativity will often strike when I'm sitting in my boxers on my couch on the laptop, just watching Netflix, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is a great idea! I got to implement this now." So I feel like I'm just one of those kind of people where the juices just start flowing when they start flowing, and for me, it's usually in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Nice. Love it. All right. And then what's been the most surprising thing while building Lucid that you weren't expecting?
Um, I don't think I ever expected us to really become a full-on optical eyewear company. I always thought, in the beginning, we saw it as a tech product as well.
Hmm.
And then we quickly figured out that this is actually needs to be an optical product. And we changed tack, and now our eyewear stores around the country love us because we've created a product for them that gives them a whole new category. So we think that's something I wasn't expecting. I didn't think Lucid would ever be sold in eyewear stores. I always thought it would be a direct-to-consumer business, but now it's completely flipped.
That's cool. Hey, pivots. Every company has some big pivots that
Oh
are
yeah,
mostly unknown, actually, but I love that.
you have to survive. I mean, it's
Hmm.
important.
Yep, completely agree. All right, Harrison, this has been really fun having you on the show. For anyone who
Okay,
hasn't
great.
checked out the Lucid glasses, you should. But for now, where can people find out more about you and Lucid?
Of course, check out our website, lucyd.co, lucyd.co, and feel free to email us if you have any questions. Love to answer. Really appreciate the time today. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Harrison. See ya.